Again, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue with our chronic. I would call it that way, Omega chronic of where the company made and what is the company story or the company history. Story of Omega. Last time we covered it from 1848 till 1950 years. Today we will cover from 1951 till today, year 2020. So let's begin. Here we are. The first constellation in year 1952. The first constellation named after the 8 stars emblazoned of its crest. The constellation was launched by Omega in 1952. Just a moment so I can change my brightness here because it's very bright. So I can read better. So, launched by Omega in 1952, because of its high quality construction and unfaltering precision, the constellation quickly became known as the Swiss watch. The 8 stars of the constellation medallion represents 8 precision records by Omega set by Q. Teddington and the Geneva Observatory during the mid century of the 20th century. The iconic engraving on the observatory and how much of these results, as well as the incredible accuracy of the constellation watch offered and still offered to the consumers. So let's check it out. It's very beautiful. Here is the observatory, as you can see. The constellation insignia depicted the cupola of the Geneva Observatory. Very nice, very beautiful watch, I would say, even to this day. 1955. The first Lady Matic, the Lady Matic, Omega's first lady's automatic research, was a sensational success right from its launch in 1955 and was revolutionary for combining compact size with elegant good looks, having passed all chronometer testing with flying colors. Its movement became the world's smallest rotor equipped automatic caliber to obtain the official rating certification with special mention. Here, as you can see, Lady Matic here. Very nice watch, even to this day. Stunning looks. Omega Lady Matic. Here is another one. Polar flight tests in year 1956. In the middle of the winter, Omega technicians put the Seamaster in an extreme real-life challenge, strapping to the hull of the Canadian Pacific Airways Flight 302, bound for Amsterdam from Canada via the Polar Road. After nearly 9 hours of continuous exposure of the elements, the Seamaster was examined by the captain, mechanics and the airport officials, who found the perfect working order and keeping good time. The Goose airline, which no longer exists. In the year 1956, Cortina d'Ampezzo Olympic Games. In the giant slalom event in Olympic Games, the winner was so far ahead of his nearest rival, an incredible 6.2 seconds. He was convicted the clocks had malfunctioned, but Omega's timing was flawless and it went down as the greatest margin of victory in the event history. Here, as you can see. Again, same year Olympic Games, timing down under to get an Olympic Games in Melbourne time. Omega sent 2,475 kilograms of equipment on a boat bound for Australia, leaving in August and arriving in November. The 42 boxes were insured for Swiss francs at 1 million and included many sophisticated technologies such as the new Swing 8 automatic timer, a semi-automatic device that could determine the closest swimming result, Melbourne. Here, as you can see. Again, every Olympics is measured by Omega. You will see this a lot. Here, Olympics again. The legend is 3 legends are born in this year, 1956. Omega introduced his professional line of watches. The line consists of 3 watches that were all to become legends in their own rights: the Speedmaster, the Seamaster 300, and the Railmaster. The Speedmasters was destined for a future and pioneering spy explorations with NASA and became known as the Moon Watch. The Seamaster ushered the new era of underwater discovery, and the Railmaster was Omega's first commercially available watch able to resist magnetism more than 1,000 Gauss, becoming a timeless symbol of earthbound precision. Very, very nice, even to this day. Here is the second one. The third one is Railmaster, the second one is Seamaster, the first one is Moonwatch. So, 1960, Ancient City, New Technology, Games of the Olympia, Roma. Roma Asian settings was a dramatic backdrop on the 1960 Olympic Games, which saw the first large electronic scoreboards and the first television coverage. As the demand for timekeeping had increased, Omega tripled its staff at the games. Precise timing played a crucial role in the 100 meter, where the winning margin was just 0.01 seconds. Here is the stadium, you can see. 1960, to a future president in the lead. Up to the 1960 presidential election, Senator John F. Kennedy received a prophecy engraved Omega Slimline watch. Here you can see it, Omega Slimline watch. President of the United States John F. Kennedy, from his friend Grant. Here is the note. Kennedy Slimline watch can now be seen on the Omega Museum at BLBN, Switzerland. It's also a little known fact that Jackie Kennedy wrote numerous letters in which she described her admiration for her husband Omega watch. Following its victory, Kennedy wore the watch during his inauguration on the 20th January 1961. Very, very nice watch. You can see John F. Kennedy, one of my favorite presidents. The first Speedmaster in space. Nearly 2.5 years later, before the Omega Speedmaster was qualified by NASA for all of its manned space flights, astronauts Wally Schirra wore his own Speedmaster chronograph into space in the Mercury Sigma 7 mission, flying into uncharted territory. Wally orbited the Earth 6 times in a mission that would last 8 hours, 13 minutes and 11 seconds. At NASA space program involved, Schirra went on a record of remarkable 295 hours in space abroad both Gemini and Apollo flights. On every one of these missions he was accompanied by Omega Speedmaster. And that's True fact. 1965, NASA tests and qualifies the Speedmaster, a part of rapid acceleration space programs. Omega was one of the 4 watches banned and invited to submit times for NASA certification. The chronograph were also subject to charges that were intended to almost test them to destruction. As you can see, Director for Engineering and Development, Gemini program, test subject. So almost test them to destruction. Only 1 watch survived and was the certified for our manned space mission. An extra, this is very interesting here, extra vehicular activity EVA, the Omega Speedmaster. More than half of a century after it was first qualified for a spaceflight for original Speedmaster version, it's still the only watch certified by NASA and other International Space Agency for extravehicular activity EVA. Omega is proud that the precision and reliability of its Speedmaster watches has played an active role in the rich legacy of space exploration. Here, as you can see, almost tested to destruction. The first touchpads. Improving timekeeping for a new generation of athletes. Omega introduced the world's first swimming touchpads at the Pan American Games in 1967. The introduction of the touchpads technology dramatically increased the accuracy of swimming results, with swimmers able to stop the clock themselves. Previously, judges has been required to look the moment that each swimmer touches the wall. Inaccuracy and potential disputes were common, as up to 3 judges per lane each had stopwatches and often recorded conflicting results. The touchpad solved this problem and was being used in every summer game since 1968. As you can see, touchpads here, Omega branded. The View is born, my favorite, one of my favorites. I own one. The View dropped in 1967. The View dropped Seamaster from its name and became a line of its own right. As its launch, the View generated considerable attention due to the fact that its combined Omega already proven movement with meticulous finish and design, simpler, slimmer and more varied. The collection was instantly appreciated for its refined form. Since then, the timeless good looks of the View have remained untouched. Besides the case, the timepieces of the View family had become coolly and impressive. Today they are also equipment with Omega state-of-the-art industry and technology. The View logo, Chicago skyline. In 1968, the Great Leap, Mexico City, was the first time that electronic timekeeping was officially used in all events at the Olympic Games. For those watching, games would be remembered for one of the most astonishing long jumps in history. The winning 8.9 millimeters leap broke the record by 55 centimeters, sending shockwaves around the stadium. More than 40 years later, it remains the Olympic long jump record. Mexico, you can see here. I cannot read these, but these are watches. Different colors, I guess similar or close models. In next year, first journey to the moon. 1968, the first journey to the moon. In the world-changing moment, the first human being walked into the moon at 02:56 GMT on 21st July 1968. An essential part of each astronaut space kit was also Omega Speedmaster Professional, qualified by NASA in 1965 as the only watch for all manned space mission extravehicular activity EVA. The Speedmaster made up an official part of each astronaut kit after the Apollo 11 landing. The Speedmaster became forever known as the Moonwatch. The first ever moonwalk lasted a total of 2.5 hours. The astronauts gathered lunar samples and carried experiments. Following their footsteps would be 10 more astronauts in the circulation 3 years, each with Omega Speedmaster strapped into the spacesuit with a Velcro strap. Here, as you can see, here we have a short movie. Just a moment. Let me start it from the beginning. The highest quality possible. Omega. Nice cool video. So let's continue with what we have next. Again, aboard the first Concorde. Concorde was the first and the fastest airplane in the world. In the same year, 1968, a new aircraft was unveiled for a new age. Concorde. The SST extreme precision was required to meet the needs of extraordinary fast plane during the test first program. Therefore, mounted on the of this prototype supersonic jet were 9 Omega instruments used to measure time after 6 rotations. The Concorde Omega time measurement instruments were made standard component for several Concordes built until the fleet was retired in 2003. Many of the Concorde crew also chose to wear Omega watches to keep accurate time close at hand. One of those was Captain John Hackett, the first person to pilot Concorde over the Atlantic Ocean. He wore the same model of Omega Speedmaster that was flight qualified by NASA for its manned space missions. Very, very cool. So, Lucky 13, 1960, 11 of April at 30 Houston time, Apollo 13 was launched, destined for the moon. Following a disaster explosion of oxygen tank, the crew was left stranded in space with minimum power. Thankfully, they were equipped with Omega Speedmaster. Among the many challenges faced by astronauts was manually firing an engine to correctly align the damaged craft to re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. Using their Speedmaster watches, the crew successfully timed a 40-second burn that saw them splash down to much relief on 17 April. 142 hours and 54 minutes after launch. Had several problems, some of them critical, fleeing the damaged command module. The crew evacuated tiny aquarius lunar mode to conserve power, fabricating makeshift tire to absorb position levels as CO. As you can see, not Lucky 13. Here we have a short movie here.
We sometimes forget, in light of everything that happened, that the primary objectives of the Apollo 13 mission were to explore the Palmyra Islands, to gather geological specimens, and to enhance our knowledge of the lunar landscape. But as we all know, other lessons were learned, lessons that would make every future spaceflight safer. Beyond the Earth's atmosphere, the crew settled into a series of routine tasks and system checks as they coasted peacefully through space. On the 13th of April, right after the crew had conducted a live TV broadcast, disaster struck. The explosion on the service module irrevocably changed the course of this mission. To conserve power, the crew had to shut down all of the ship's systems. They now faced freezing temperatures, depleting oxygen, and carbon dioxide poisoning.
Everybody keep cool. We got lens still attached, spacecraft goods. The angle of entry into the atmosphere is a very small angle, only about 2 degrees, so it has to be controlled.
Failure was not an option. The astronauts had to rely on their Speedmaster chronographs to time the mid-course engine burns that ensured their safe re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere.
Understood, man.
perfectly, and the capsule splashed down on target in the South Pacific Ocean. The mission was dubbed a successful failure. It demonstrated what could be achieved through teamwork and ingenuity. For its role in enhancing the probability of mission success and flight safety of the Apollo missions, Omega was presented the coveted Silver Snoopy Award in October of 1970. To the astronauts and to all of us, Snoopy's slogan reminds us of the importance of believing in our goals, our dreams, and above all, in ourselves.
So, Silver Snoopy Award we have in here. 1970, the Silver Snoopy Award as a mark of gratitude for its combination of success in human space flight mission as well as the successful return of Apollo 13 crew. Omega was presented with the Silver Snoopy Award. In 1970, a sterling silver lapel pin and certificate that represent the highest district award by NASA. When the award was first created, Snoopy was chosen for its mascot because of the ability to keep things light in serious situations. According to NASA, Snoopy would emphasize mission success and act of a watchdog. The award is proudly displayed by Omega Museum in Bienne, Switzerland. Omega Watch Company Snoopy Award. Here you are. Last mission to the moon. Module Captain Apollo 70 Watch. The Apollo 70 mission. This here we have some engraving things. A last mission on the moon, the Apollo 70 mission led by Commander Eugene Cernan, what was NASA's final visit to the moon, and it's remembered of several records, including the longest manned lunar flight. Once again, Omega iconic timepiece played an important role while Cernan and the mission pilot spent over 3 days on the moon. The crew member who remained in lunar orbit used his speedmaster during heat and flow convective experiment. When he entered the service, module captain who had taken his own speedmaster along with the official kit engraved his personal speedmaster with the words "flown to CSM to the moon Apollo 17." His initial letter watch engraved heat flow expired on 6 December 1972. Today, the watch represents one of the few privately owned speedmasters worn during the Apollo missions. Uh, 1974, the most accurate wristwatch ever. After a decade of development, Omega launched Mega Quartz movement of wristwatch, basically very cheap watch size at caliber that was certified as marine chronometer due to the routine variation less than 0.0002 seconds per day. It remains the world's first and only wristwatch to receive this distinction. The most accurate wristwatch ever. Small item like this. In the pre-computer age, marine chronometer were critical to marine navigation and had bulky movement due to the need of extreme precision. They were strongly tested and certified because if chronometer were to fail, a ship could be lost. Today, Omega Marine chronometer can be viewed at Omega Museum in Bienne, Switzerland. I prefer still the things which are automatic watches. Historic handshake in 1975, historic handshake. Apollo and Soyuz capsules became the first ever spacecraft to meet and dock in space. For America and Russia, represent the possibility of throwing Cold War tension when Commandant Stanford Leonov embraced the shock hands. They and the rest of the crew were Omega Speedmaster, one side set to Houston, the other Baikonur time. Soon after mission, Speedmaster adopted the official watch of the Russian Space Agency, mirroring the certification by NASA 10 years earlier. The Speedmaster is still regularly seen today upon the research astronauts, cosmonauts on board the International Space Station. In this year, 1976, 7 perfect scores. The Olympic Games Montreal was a momentous year for the young Romanian gymnast. At just 40 years old, she won 3 Olympic gold medals and awarded a maximum score of 10 of the 7 of her performance. And this was the first time a perfect 10 was ever been given to the history of women gymnastics. And new video matrix scoreboard displayed on the score as 1. So, naval pedigree. 1978 naval pedigree. By 1970, Omega had a solid position in the manufacturing of sources. Omega Seamaster Professional 200 meters was one of the decade best, notable of his octagonal steel case and luminous black dial. In the selection of 1978 was the watch chosen by the Naval Hydrographic and Electronics Service SWAM. The French government agency was responsible for producing the official maps and charts. Divers received Omega provided them with just the right timepieces in their meticulous and demonstrated the work that support the watch today most commonly known as the Omega Seamaster Professional Show. Here is the watch. So, because the video became very long, we will make probably a third part. So this was it for today. Till next time, people. If you like my videos, keep watching and sharing, subscribing, and till next time, be safe.